Alchemist is one of the most valuable professions in the game. Alchemy will let you fight mobs way higher level than you through potions that don't feel terrible to use, make resources you'll use for the rest of the game's life, and the ability to overcharge for high level potions to others because of all the combat focused players who'll be too lazy to level it themselves. Alchemy is also extremely expensive to train unless done correctly. From level 20 to 200, you're looking at 67 gold after buying ingredients and selling the potions if you follow the recipe book. In this video, I'll be covering the best strategies to train Alchemist, tips on making the potions faster and smoother, and giving you the resources you need to train your way from 0 all the way to 500. First things first, we need to dress the part. All alchemy training is performed in the Apothecary in Hopeport. You're introduced to the Apothecary when the captain of the entire guard, who is wielding something that can only be described as a god sword, almost dies fighting a goblin that you have no problem beating to death with your fists. First, you must finish the tutorial by spending 10 minutes running all the way to the beach doing a fetch quest for a cheapskate who would literally rather let the captain die on his doorstep instead of opening his wallet. After that, you can make potions for real. To level alchemy, you've got two options. The first is to head into the town square and buy ingredients from this guy, who would be far better off setting up his shop about 20 tiles closer. This will get really expensive if you're not careful. Some of the potions on the way to level 50 will cost you upwards of 250 silver per level. Sprinkled through the leveling process, there's a few potions that do actually profit from buying from the vendor, but they are far and few in between, and also completely stop at level 131. The second method is to level the gathering professions for the materials yourself, right? Well, kinda. Because the reagents come from Forager, Mindfighter, Forager but apples, Merchant, and Forager but worms. Thankfully, you won't need all of these for your journey to Ultimate Alchemist, but they will help a lot. One more thing to note is that because Alchemist interacts with so many other professions, they can really be all over the place. The level 10 potion needs foraging from level 41, and then the level 35 potion uses Mindfighter level 2. We can abuse this to reduce the amount of money we have to spend and maximize our earnings while training. Your first main objective is going to be to get to level 23. If you're a new player, you can use low level foraging to gather full inventories of brown kelp, run them to the Apothecary, and then make a full inventory of 24 10% potions to sell immediately because they're trash. You'll unlock the ability to make 20% potions, but because the 10% only use one ingredient, you'll end up saving time, saving clicks, and making more money all the way up to level 23. As you level up your foraging, you can choose to do higher level potions, but it will take twice as much foraging time, as well as twice as much banking time for not as much reward. For example, the Cryonate potions, which are level 8 alchemy, need 18 forager to gather, take double ingredients, and only give 35 more experience each, up from 105. This means that the genuine fastest way to level all the way up to 20 is use the 10% potions if you're foraging for yourself. If you have leftover mats from training foraging though, go nuts. If you're not as strapped for cash as a desperate new player saving up for their 47 silver trowel, you can buy your way to level 23 a bit quicker. I recommend the 10% potions, which will cost you 50 copper each up until level 12, and then the 3-minute fear potions will cost you 72 copper all the way up to the first milestone of 23. This will run you just under 44 silver. At level 20, you'll unlock knowledge points and passive activities. Alchemist has two different types of passive activities, working for Ebsworth and creating passive potions. You can start working for Ebsworth by right-clicking the preparation table here. He'll then pay you just as much as a minimum wage Amazon employee. Alternatively, passive potions used for boosting other passive activities can be made in the central tables here. These require an inventory slot free, as well as 2 separate passive ingredients each, meaning you can only craft for a maximum of about 11 hours. If you're farming materials yourself, you'll need to forage for about 2 hours per single potion, or alternatively you can buy the materials instead. Early on, this costs rather little or even makes a profit, but swiftly descends as you get into tier 2 materials and higher. Keep in mind that even when they're higher level, these passive potions don't always outpace Ebsworth work in terms of XP. so double check the charts or check for yourself before you try. Each work action is 5 seconds and potion action is 20 seconds. Your next objective will be push level 35 and you can start making some decent cash as well as a nice boost to your XP per hour through the use of a new crafting mechanic. To get there, it's best to make Stonemaw Mill experience potions at the cost of a measly 28 copper each. Because this is a 5-hour straight grind with no new activities worth doing the whole way up, knowledge points and passive activities are very useful for alchemy on the way to 35 when you unlock the ability to make potent potions. To make these types of potions, you'll need to channel your inner Heisenberg and start cooking. Effectively, the minigame works by interacting with these devices so they don't overheat or overflow. If you were to fail, one reagent is consumed, you get a weaker potion, and you get no experience or maidens. Don't fret though, because the only way you can really fail is if you fall asleep or literally walk away from the screen to do something else. Wait. Wait for it. Wait. Okay, all done. The best way to do this is when you start the craft, stand around for a little bit, about 5 seconds or so. If stuff starts to yell at you, don't worry about it. Once the potion is about halfway done, activate the third device and then the second device. From here on, you can literally just go fourth, third, second, and then first until you run out of reagents. Be sure to collect the potion as soon as it's ready, because your next one doesn't start until you do, and this does affect your XP rate. Due to the 28% potent health potions materials being tier 1, you actually make just under a silver profit from every single potion if you decide to sell them. Alternatively, making the 28% potions are as cheap as buying the 20%, but help with combat greatly, letting you do boss fights or mobs higher than your level. You can do this pretty much all the way to 50 to finish the Brennhoff Inheritance before things start to get really slow. From here, you can grab your first cape and figure out what to do next. As you climb the levels, potions will get very expensive, but many of the first potent potions you unlock are profitable all the way up to level 131. Beyond 131, you're going to need to remortgage your house to fund your alchemy addiction, or start working on the support skills, which will take a lot of time. One of the best optimizations I found for Alchemist is while doing potent potion crafting. Start your Alchemist grind with 0% KP. Prepare your reagents as usual, but when you finish making 12, head back to the bank and withdraw 5 more of each ingredient and prepare those for a total of 17. Make these 17 potent potions and you'll end up right around 50% KP generated. Do this again and you'll get a knowledge point right around 100% without overflowing nor even having to think about it. I didn't feel right to make an alchemy video that didn't cover all of the potions and their actual uses as well, so let's get into it. Raspberry Reboot flavor is your run-of-the-mill health pot. 10% is objectively trash, making you take more damage than you actually heal, while 20% is useful for most scenarios and can be bought from the vendor at 1 silver a pop. As you reach the higher level 28% and even 35% levels, it can help you do harder fights with mobs above your level. Your 3 factions have damage type potions which come in Jungle Juice, Frosty Fizz, and Zappy Lemon flavors. These increase your strength when dealing damage with that element, requiring to use a matching weapon ideally with as high chance as possible. Note that strength is a DPS measure, so fast or slow doesn't matter for any reason that isn't already there for normal combat. Lastly, you have the Terror-Teeny Fear potions, which let you dodge aggressive enemies. This is great for people who don't want to end up like a female anime protagonist in the mines.
Put me down right now!
On the support side of things, we have XP potions, 1 for each region. They are best used in conjunction with skills that don't rely on inventory spots as much, such as combat, or for generating bonus experience for knowledge point pops. They range from 5% to 10%. These potions will essentially be buffed if Andrew ever gets around to making the potion slot in the tool belt everyone's begging him for. And yes, before you ask, I did name them. You've got Dockside Delight, Pineapple Pine Brew, Cavern Cooler, Metro Mixer, and Craggy Crush. As for the passive potions, they work as follows. Forensic potions are pretty simple and 1-to-1 consumed per hour for any time you want to do the forensics passive activity in Detective. Wealth potions increase the amount of gold you get from doing combat passive activities by 250% upwards. Boost potions let you do passive activities at a higher level and knowledge points allocated than what you're at. For example, if you're a level 45 alchemist, a +2 boost potion will let you do the level 47 passive activity. You can drink one potion and it will auto-consume them when you log out, but the activity will stop when you run out. Passive XP potions do exactly what they say on the tin. All 3 passive potions can be combined. So for example, you can take a stack of 8 of each in your inventory and fight higher level mobs for increased money and experience. These don't sound that impressive initially, but in my opinion, later in the game, the higher level versions of these potions should not be slept on, especially considering that level 200 and onwards, passive activities are very powerful, offering a level every 10 to 12 hours even though it takes 4 times as long to level up actively and tons of free silver. Additionally, because you can only make one of them per hour, players might be paying a very pretty penny for the passive potion market. Lastly, I've created an Ultimate Alchemist Guide spreadsheet for you all. With it, you can input your stats, find out roughly how long it'll take you to get to your goal, see how much money you'll make if you gather ingredients, which potions are the cheapest, and how quickly you'll bankrupt yourself. Click the link in the description and use File Copy to make your own editable version. Don't click this button. There's already been like 100 of you who have. It doesn't work. And that covers everything. I have some very exciting news I seriously can't wait to share with you, but it's not quite ready yet and I need just a little more time. Please subscribe to keep tabs on new updates and guides like this, as well as leave a like and share the video around if you appreciate the effort, as it helps immensely for making the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.